Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Archana Solanki. Here are the headlines we're tracking this evening. Israel-Iran conflict enters the seventh day. Iranian missiles hit a hospital in southern Israel's Beersheba. Now, Iran state media reports that a heavy water reactor southwest of Tehran was struck by Israel. Donald Trump says he's still undecided on whether the US would attack Iran. Stock markets are under pressure across the world due to Middle East tensions. US Fed signals it's in no hurry to cut rates. Crude oil prices continue to climb with Brent hovering around $77 a barrel. Sensex and Nifty end flat with marginal gains, but midcaps and small caps see a sell-off. All sectoral indices end in the red, barring automobiles. Rupee weakens sharply against the dollar. 1 week since the Air India plane crash, authorities have identified 214 dead bodies. Mortal remains of 187 people have been returned to families so far. The lone survivor carries the coffin of his brother who died in the crash. Air India announces a 15% reduction in overseas flights on wide-body aircraft for about a month. This follows a series of technical snags and operational issues since the Ahmedabad plane crash. Air India cancelled 83 flights to Europe and North America in the last 7 days. 80% of them were 787 Dreamliners. Israeli forces killed 72 Palestinians in Gaza in the last 24 hours. This includes 29 people who were waiting for food assistance. Reports suggest more than 300 people have died at food aid centers run by Israel and the US in the last 3 weeks. A majority stake in legendary basketball franchisee Los Angeles Lakers is being sold by the Buss family in a historic deal. The transaction could be worth an estimated $10 billion, making it the most expensive sale in sports history. And Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship explodes into a massive fireball while preparing for a test flight. The company says no injuries were caused and there are no hazards to communities in the surrounding areas. The top story we are tracking this evening: the Israel-Iran conflict has entered the seventh day, with both sides continuing to exchange fire and the US troops remaining on standby. Human rights activists, a Washington-based group, has reported over 600 deaths in Iran. Close to half of them are civilians. 24 deaths have been reported in Israel too. Iranian missiles caused serious damage at 4 sites in central and southern Israel. Now, Tel Aviv confirmed that a ballistic missile hit a hospital in southern Israel's Beersheba. A spokesperson said that people were injured in the strike. Israeli forces retaliated by attacking Iran's Arak heavy water nuclear reactor. Iranian state media said that no radiation danger has been reported. Israel's military had warned people to evacuate the area around the region just a couple of hours before the attack. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has said that he's still weighing his options on America's military intervention in the escalating hostilities. His comments came hours after Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned that any strikes by the United States on its territory would have serious, irreparable consequences. Iran's foreign minister has said he will travel to Geneva for meetings with his European counterpart on Friday. Israeli president has said that they were not pushing for a regime change in Iran and is only tackling Tehran's nuclear capabilities. Speaking with CNBC, Herzog said that Iran has been cheating and rushing to the bomb, which has called for strong action.
We all understand that nuclear weapons are the most dangerous weapons for humanity. For 80 years, the world has known it. And for decades, the world has decided that Iran must not have nuclear weapons. And we discovered that they're cheating, that they're rushing to the bomb. And over the weekend, there was a clear decision of the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, which has reaffirmed it following a report of its Secretary General. So, one has to be tough sometimes in order to remove imminent threats. That's exactly what we're doing.
And the possibility of an Iran deal, is the destruction or the dismantling of the Fordow nuclear enrichment center, is that a prerequisite for a deal? Is that a red line for you?
No, it's just something that people talk about having. We're the only ones that have the capability to do it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do it at all. Yeah, we have the best military equipment in the world. You see that with this fight. We're I mean, certain countries take advantage of that. Israel has incredible weaponry. So we'll see what happens. I've been asked about it by everybody, but I haven't made a decision.
The Indian government has facilitated the return of 110 students from Iran amid the attacks. The students who were evacuated from Iran to Armenia landed in Delhi today. Remember, there were approximately 10,000 Indians in Iran when the attacks began, of which 4,000 were students. Israel's attacks on Iran are also likely to impact the export of Indian products to the country. Parikshit Luthra is here with more. Parikshit, tell us about how this conflict can impact India.
The Indian government is watching out for any negative impact of the Iran-Israel tensions very closely. Daily meetings are being held, contingency plans are being drawn out, especially in case the Strait of Hormuz is closed. This is because 40% of our oil supplies come from the Strait of Hormuz, and we also get 54% of our LNG supplies from this region. For the moment, the Indian government has said there is no negative impact on India. Oil prices are not going to be raised. There is going to be no shortage of oil as well, and we have enough reserves too. Having said that, exporters are worried about freight rates going up. Already in the last few days, we've seen air freight rates going up by 10 to 15% according to sources, and exporters believe air freight rates are going to go up even further because of escalating tensions and airspace closures over Pakistan, Iran, Israel as well. Shipping rates are also likely to go up. Companies expect a war surcharge soon, higher insurance costs and fuel surcharge on freight as well. Indian companies are expecting lower demand from Iran, especially for Indian exports of basmati rice, soybean and tea. Exporters will meet the government soon to review the current situation and the way out, possibly. One big impact area will be the Chabahar port. Now, India, Iran have had long-standing cooperation over the Chabahar port, and this is important for our connectivity in the region all the way to Afghanistan, Central Asia and the Middle East as well. The progress and development of Chabahar port and also India's exports through this region are going to be impacted if the situation worsens. Further development of the Chabahar port, including work on the railway line, which was supposed to connect us to Central Asia and also the Middle East, all of that has been hit. That is what sources are also telling us. This was a very important connectivity project for us in the region. We also have people-to-people ties with Iran. There are at least 10,000 Indians who are in Iran, including 4,000 students, and students are being evacuated to safer locations. Many have been brought back to India as well. The examinations have been postponed because of the war that is ongoing. So India definitely impacted on multiple fronts.
Right. Thank you, Parikshit, for that. And staying with tensions in West Asia, Israeli airstrikes have killed nearly 140 people in Gaza in the last 24 hours. As per local health officials, majority of the killings happened near food distribution centers or on routes along which trucks were expected to travel. Medics also said that Israeli forces conducted airstrikes over a neighborhood in Gaza, killing at least 21 people. On to the day's market action. Sensex and Nifty ended the day with marginal cuts. Broader markets witnessed a large drop, with mid-cap index ending 2% in the red. Nearly 90% of 100 mid-cap stocks closed with cuts. Surbhi Upadhyay joins us now with the day's action. Surbhi.
Well, not a great day for the market. I'll tell you why. The headline index was flat. So that's actually not too bad. The problem was in the broader market. At the headline index level, actually, India outperformed a lot of the global markets because overall, there was a sense of caution, whether we're looking at Asia or even while we were trading, European markets were down about 0.5% each. So then why am I saying it's a bad day? Because of the way mid-caps have come under pressure. Not just mid-caps. The mid-cap index was down 1.5%. Small cap index down 2%. And if you're looking at the micro cap index, that was falling almost 3%. And there was across the board profit taking. A lot of caution in the market. I'll just throw up some names as examples. PSU stocks, Railtel, RVNL, NBCC, Hindustan Copper, IOB, Bank of India. So across lines, across sectors, PSU stocks were under pressure today. Beyond that as well, I mean, you had lots of names like Brain-B Solutions, that's First Cry, Cyient, Minda Corp, Shakti Pumps, Prince Pipes. Wherever mid-caps have had a good run over the last 2 months, I think investors are getting a little nervous and cautious, and they were very quick to press the eject button today. Having said that, on the Nifty itself, financials were a weak spot. The bank Nifty was underperforming. It was down about 0.5%. Actually, barring autos, all sectors were weak today, which is why I'm saying it was a weak day despite the flat close on the Nifty. So the losers, what do they look like? Adani Ports, Adani Enterprises, Tech Mahindra was reacting to a brokerage note. Coal India was on the way down. Even TCS and Infosys, these were stocks that came under pressure. I said financials are weak, so Bajaj Finance, IndusInd, Jio Finance, all these stocks on the losing side. Gainers, auto and some consumer names. For instance, Tata Consumer, Titan, and the likes of Eicher Motor, M&M. Another good day for auto stocks. A very small pocket of the market that saw some green. Otherwise, there's a lot of caution, and not just here in India, but globally as well. So we really have to watch for all those headlines coming out of the Middle East. And of course, the shape, form, and the price action on both the US dollar as well as crude oil prices. So wait and watch mode for the markets right now.
Right. Thank you, Surbhi, for that. The U.S. Federal Reserve has kept its interest rate steady in the range of 4.25 and 4.5% once again. However, it has maintained its forecast of 2 cuts for the rest of 2025. Fed Chair Jerome Powell warned that inflation could rise over the next few months due to tariffs. The central bank also cut its projections for U.S. economic growth to 1.4% from 1.7% earlier. Powell acknowledged that growth will slow eventually, sparking concerns over a possible stagflation in the U.S. economy.
Since March, this is since March, right? You see a little slower growth, just a tiny tick up, a 1/10 tick up in unemployment, and you see inflation moving up 0.3. And by the way, it was a similar move from the December SEP to the March. So that's what you see. You see the effects of tariffs. I think we learned in April, after the March meeting, that substantially higher tariffs were likely. And then since then, the estimates of where the tariffs will be have actually moved back down, although still at an elevated level. So we're adapting in real time. And what you see is an accumulation of individual assessments. Uncertainty about the economic outlook has diminished but remains elevated. Many, many surveys say that. They do. So, and that's actually a line from the Teal book, which you can see in 5 years.
All right, on to the global markets now. Asian indices were in the red, tracking U.S. futures. This as investors weighed concerns about inflation in the U.S. and potential escalation in tensions in West Asia. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index led the fall, clocking losses of 2%, while Japan's Nikkei and China's Shanghai Composite Index fell 1%. European markets also opened with cuts. Crude oil prices remain steady after President Donald Trump said that Iran wants to negotiate over its nuclear program. However, prices remain near 5-month high, with Brent at the $77 mark. The potential of higher demand after the U.S. Federal Reserve's signal of 2 more cuts by year-end also supported prices. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has resumed student visa appointments, but with stricter social media vetting. A State Department cable has directed U.S. consular officers to thoroughly screen applicants for any hostile views against American values. This will include a review of the students' online presence. The cable sent by Secretary of State Marco Rubio also allows officers to demand public access to social media accounts. Those found supporting violence or groups like Hamas may be denied visas. Fewer visa slots may now be available due to the heavy vetting workload. U.S. President Donald Trump hosted Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir at the White House yesterday. Speaking at the White House launch, President Trump claimed yet again that he stopped a war between 2 nuclear nations. This comes a day after Prime Minister Modi, during a phone call with the U.S. President, clarified that no discussions were held with the U.S. on mediation or a trade deal during Operation Sindoor. In a statement, the Indian Foreign Ministry said that PM Modi firmly stated that India has never accepted, does not accept, and will never accept any form of mediation. The statement further highlighted that PM Modi stated that India now views terrorism not as a proxy war, but as an act of war, and that Operation Sindoor is still ongoing.
प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप को स्पष्ट रूप से कहा कि इस पूरे घटनाक्रम के दौरान कभी भी किसी भी स्तर पर भारत अमेरिका ट्रेड डील या अमेरिका द्वारा भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच मध्यस्थता जैसे विषयों पर बात नहीं हुई थी। सैन्य कार्रवाई रोकने की बात सीधे भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच दोनों सेनाओं की एग्जिस्टिंग चैनल्स के माध्यम से हुई थी। और पाकिस्तान के ही आग्रह पर हुई थी। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने जोर देकर कहा कि भारत ने न तो कभी मध्यस्थता स्वीकार की थी, न करता है और न ही कभी करेगा।
Well, I stopped a war between Pakistan. I love Pakistan. I think Modi is a fantastic man. I spoke to him last night. We're going to make a trade deal with Modi of India. But I stopped the war between Pakistan and India. This man was extremely influential in stopping it from the Pakistan side, Modi from the India side, and others. And they were going at it, and they're both nuclear countries. I got it stopped. I don't think I had one story. Did I have one story written about it? I stopped a war between two major nations, major nuclear nations.
Shares of Seammens Energy listed on the bourses today after demerging from its parent Seammens. The company's stock listed above the demerger price of 2,350 rupees a share. The stock hit 5% upper circuit soon after listing. HDFC Bank subsidiary HDB Financial Services will launch its initial public offering on the 25th of June. The IPO's price band will be revealed tomorrow. The 12,500 crore rupee offer will comprise of a fresh issue and an offer for sale. HDFC Bank will sell shares worth 10,000 crore rupees in the IPO. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has commenced his two-day visit to the United Kingdom. In a statement, the government said that the minister will aim to fast-track the implementation of the India-UK Free Trade Agreement and advance broader economic cooperation. During his visit, Goyal will hold bilateral talks with UK Secretary of State for Business Jonathan Reynolds to review the trade deal's progress. Gas is continuing to leak from an ONGC crude oil well in Assam for 8th straight day. ONGC has said that it's bringing in international experts to contain the leak. Assam Chief Minister Hemant Biswa Sarma has written to the centre, flagging the oil and gas major response, calling it inadequate. More than 1,500 people from villages around the rig in the district's Rudrasagar field have been evacuated to safety. All right, it's time for a short break. Coming up next, 1 week since the Air India plane crash, authorities have identified 214 dead bodies. Mortal remains of 187 people have been returned to families so far. More details when we return. Welcome back. Air India has announced that it will cut its international wide-body flights by 15% for the next few weeks. The reduction will be implemented between today and will continue until mid-July. The announcement has come a week after the tragic Air India plane crash that killed 271 people in Ahmedabad last week. Madhiya Mujawar joins us now with the details. Madhiya, how many flights will be impacted by this move?
Well, Air India is under growing scrutiny after the tragic crash of flight AI-171 just seconds after takeoff from Ahmedabad last week. Because soon after the crash, a series of technical snags and operational issues have surfaced. There have been multiple instances where flights have returned midway, made emergency landing or not cleared for takeoff. Between June 12th and 17th, the airline cancelled 83 flights to Europe and North America, and 66 of them were operated by 787 Dreamliners, which is the same aircraft type that is involved in the crash. Now, Air India says that it is not just technical faults that is leading to these disruptions. The airline is citing airspace restrictions over the Middle East, enhanced safety checks ordered by the DGCA, which is making the aircraft unavailable for service, and a more cautious approach by engineers and pilots who are flagging even minor mechanical issues. But to minimize the disruptions, Air India is reducing its international wide-body operations by 15% for the next few weeks. Air India's wide-body planes, remember, include Boeing 777 that flies to ultra-long-haul routes like the US, Airbus A350 that flies to long and ultra-long haul, and the 787 Dreamliner that flies to long-haul routes like London and Frankfurt. Now, Air India operates about 85 to 90 wide-body flights on an average every day. This includes domestic as well as international destinations. So, the decision to reduce wide-body flights would mean cancelling at least 13 flights every day operated by the wide-body planes. The airline says that this step is aimed at ensuring stable operations, greater efficiency, and minimizing passenger disruption. The DGCA has directed airlines to communicate delays and cancellations well in advance to reduce passenger inconvenience. And on the additional checks mandated by the aviation regulator, Air India says that out of the 33 787 aircraft, inspections have now been completed on 26, and these planes have been cleared for service, while inspection on the rest will be completed in the coming days. Air India said it is also doing enhanced safety inspections on the Boeing 777 fleet as well. Meanwhile, DGC has given a clean chit to 787 planes, saying no major safety concerns have been found in the surveillance and that Air India's 787 fleet is compliant with all the current safety standards.
All right, thank you, Madiha, for that update. A three-judge panel has recommended the impeachment of Justice Yashwant Verma, who was found to have piles of burnt 500 rupee notes at his official residence in March. The panel said there is enough proof to call for the judge's removal. The 64-page report stated that the half-burnt currency notes seen are too many in number to have been placed in the storeroom without the consent of Justice Verma or his family. A majority stake in legendary basketball franchisee Los Angeles Lakers is being sold by the Buss family in a historic deal. The transaction could be worth an estimated $10 billion, making it the most expensive sale in sports history. SpaceX's Starship 36 exploded during a routine static fire test at the company's facility in Texas. The incident occurred during routine testing in preparation for a launch flight, caused significant damage to the prototype and potentially to surrounding infrastructure. SpaceX has described it as a major anomaly during preparations and added that no one was injured. U.S. President Donald Trump has deployed more troops to Los Angeles. The Pentagon announced that additional 2,000 members of the California Army National Guard will be sent to L.A. under federal command. The deployment was ordered despite the fact that demonstrations against immigration raids across the city have largely died down. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass has also lifted nighttime curfew. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business 360. News and updates continue right here on CNBC-TV18.